Hello, I'm doing a kind of impromptu reading for the full moon. So take it or leave it. And those are me when I was younger. I'm pretty sure that I fixed the settings so that my camera isn't following me around. Um, and before I get into the reading, I would like to showcase this beautiful baby. A highlight. This reminds me of like a scallop. And this is kind of like a rainbow. This is a goby agate, a raw goby agate. So go be yourself, but also the Gobi Desert is why it is called that. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna do a little bit of something for the full moon. So we're looking at June 2025 full moon, Taurus/Orion sun in a certain lens, Ophiuchus moon. So we're gonna do a couple different kinds of cards. I realize I thought, oh no, I see what I did. Actually, I don't really see what I did, but I tried to like set up a spread so that I wasn't, and I'm looking down at these decks. So in the future, if I keep doing when I keep doing videos, I'll have some views on the actual cards, but like I said, I didn't plan this. And I just thought, I mean, it might look like I did. I've got like the lighting, I got my makeup on, but really got a little high earlier. And then I put on makeup and I was like, well, I might as well do a video if I did all of that because I'm definitely not going anywhere. TMI, I don't know. 'Tis the full moon season. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of ground in the energy here with this deck that is called hmm, The Anatomy of Healing. Let me see if I have the box. So we're kind of ground in the energy, even though you could look at the signs that I mentioned earlier or moon and sun and anatomy connected to it. We're going to get specific with just the energy of this reading and see two different body parts, one connected to the sun and one connected to, oh, the moon. That popped out. Sun, moon. Okay, so I'm gonna actually just pull all the cards here so that I can just get into it because I don't have a lot of space. I'm just sitting on my bed. So I have this other deck, which is, oh, I also have the deck, I mean the box. Divine Feather Messenger. So with this, we're gonna do one for each after we've grounded in the energy connected to the body, if you will. I'm gonna soar with one of these birds. So I'll show you the back of the cards too. They're very cool in that they have the card, I mean the feather of the bird on as the back of the card. Right, so we're also gonna connect with the earth through this flower deck. So same thing, one from each, and we'll do one more, one from each. And we're gonna use here the Audacity deck. So not as specific as the others in terms of getting grounded, soaring, connecting with the earth. This is the audacity. What is the audacity of the sun and the moon? And I'm going to pull one card that's like a as they come together overall energy. Cool. Okay. So let's start with the sun. We have Ni, surrender. And so this deck, although it has this beautiful flower imagery, I don't know. I mean, some of the cards I'm sure I'll know, but don't put me on the spot, me. Um, but we can feel into it. So you see the joint and everything there. That's the anatomy of the knee. We need the sun. So we'll see how this kind of takes us in a certain direction. Why don't I go back and forth? So we'll do the moon's grounding in energy now. Genitals. I had a feeling it would be one of these cards. Feel your fire. And luckily, I don't think this will really get flagged on here. We'll see. Because it's such beautiful art. It's not as clear that it is body parts, genitals at that. And this one says, feel your fire. And I like that as the moon's grounding in energy. And given that we are looking at Ophiuchus, the genitals are very involved here. So love it. I love it. Okay, I'm making fun of myself. Okay. Uh with the sun, we're gonna soar with this bird. So I'll try to put it. This is the kingfisher. So cute. Prosperity is flowing. Have faith that you will receive it in the perfect form. So knee and kingfisher. The knee is in some way what helps us bend and be flexible in life. And knees can also be seen as like connected to your ancestry. You could look at so many things in different ways, but if we're looking at the knees, you could look at the front of knees as like future generations, the backs of the knees as past generations. I forget what it is if this is what I'm saying. Now that I'm already into it, I'm like, is this a thing? Do whatever you want, but listen to me here. The left knee is the what the your mother's side of the family or your female ancestry. We don't have to get too specific here, but the right would be like this masculine or male or your father's ancestry. And then each side of the knee or each knee has a side. And so that would be on, let's say, your left knee, the left side of the knee would be your mom's side, your mom's side. And then on the right would be her dad's side. You don't have to look at it that way, but I'm giving the depth of the layers to the knee. And now let's look at the card where we soar with the moon. We have this black feather, and it's a raven. You might be, I was going to say a feather connoisseur. I don't know if that's the word. An enthusiast. You just like birds like me, birder. Maybe you already knew that was a raven feather. This says the universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. So let's see if any synchronicities come up here in the rest of this reading. So we have grounded in, we have the knee and kingfisher soaring. We have the genitals with the moon and raven. And then with the sun, with the flower connection, with the earth, we have wisteria, longevity, plan for and take the dedicated path. So that's your dedicated path. Nobody else's. It's not some path that you're like, what do I do? It's like, what do you want to do? And I feel like one of my mottos is I do what I want. And then I come to this realization and again that I'm often not actually doing what I want. And that's not to say like I'm just doing whatever I want impulsively or willy-nilly silly, although that's fun too. What I mean more so is genuinely what brings me joy. And, let's say one part of this is like to do what I want is also to be honest. And sometimes with honesty, that takes having uncomfortable as fuck conversations. And so, That's something that helps me feel my fire as I surrender. Okay, with the moon, we have camellia, peace, be calm, and calm will come. So let me show you these both. And so I know they're backwards, and like I said, if you're into that, I'll do a video once I figure it out with you watching. You see what I'm doing down here with my hands. So peace, surrender, feel your fire, prosperity, synchronicity, longevity. And what we have here for the Audacity deck connected to the sun is fittingly strength. This deck is not a typical tarot deck. It's like oracle and tarot mixed together. And so just note that it's card number 7 here. I don't believe it's card 7 in the tarot. It could be, and I just don't know because I don't remember tarot ever. But that lion, that sun energy coming through. And you see how her third eye is open and her eyes are closed. And you see how she's holding the lion's head? To me, that's like, come here, you silly lion. But let's see what the book says here. Fierce and fearless, unabashed bravery, steadfast confidence. If that's not a sun message, I know it's not the sun, it's strength, but we got that Leo lion energy with the sun. You don't need to accomplish anything to be strong, to be valuable. Sometimes strength can be gentle. Strength can be as simple as holding space for your truest self or steadying your hands in the jaws of what would destroy you. Like I said, those uncomfortable conversations or confrontation. I know often people use that word for things you want to avoid or like, oh, they're so confrontational. But if you really look at the word and the energy, it's to face something, and if anything, it's to face it together. So, call me lame, but I love confrontation. Okay. Um, I just thought of something and then I forgot it. Oh, I was looking at this because my window, I don't know, something hit it once and it broke a bunch. And I won't get into why there's this here, but just know that oh, I just had a reminder go off to go look at the moon, even though we're the night of the full moon, so maybe last night would have been a fuller energy. It's still pretty big, pretty shiny. So maybe go look at it if you see this now or any time that you want to go look at something shiny in the sky. But yeah, I think it's an amazing energy. Like, to kind of like say the thing other people aren't saying. That's like a little bit of that confrontation energy. I also want to look at the knee here. I'm feeling called to go into this book. I just got this deck and the bird one. That's genitals. I pulled genitals for myself the other day. I pulled genitals for I'm not talking about masturbating, okay? Um I am making myself laugh. Knees. It says knee, and then this says knees. Help me to surrender. Our knees are a delicate joint that enables us to stand, walk, run, and perform various activities. Just as they allow us to be flexible while moving, they also teach us to stay flexible and open to change on our journey rather than resisting it. The act of bending can symbolize surrender and humility. If we are in harmony, we can find strength and grace in moments of surrender. However, it also serves as a reminder that we shouldn't make ourselves smaller by bending over for higher forces. We shape our own destiny and we should prioritize serving ourselves first. If life gets too heavy, our knees urge us to let go of the burdens We are not alone in this. Our body offers us support and stability even in challenging times. Just like our knees, we can heal and become stronger if we listen closely to the signals we receive. To connect, reflect on what am I surrendering to? How flexible is my life? Am I living in alignment with my goals and wishes? Some Aquarius energy. How can I surrender, embrace change, and shape my destiny? Oof, that's that's intense. So I'll show you this knee card again. I think I'll look at part of the Kingfisher card too, so because I'm just in a mood to play around here with what the decks are saying. But before I work with the sun more, let's get back to the last card that is just pulled for the moon, which is the fiddle leaf fig. This is quite a different energy than the strength card that we just pulled with the sun. It is card 32. So we had card 7 and then 32. And if you see, there's all these flames. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is as futile as the fiddle leaf fig. The message here is give it up. Regardless of your boho woven planter basket, your fiddle leaf fig will die a slow and painful death, leaf by leaf, until you're left with nothing but a crispy stub and an $89 hole in your pocket. Despite your best intentions, strict watering schedule, fertilizer, dutiful misting, and perfectly positioned grow lights, it's not happening. Let it go. Be free of the fig. Find a lower maintenance or plastic plant to satiate your black thumb. So it's not necessarily about a plant, but maybe it is for somebody. I feel like um, interesting that this is also bringing in that surrender. And interesting that the sun had longevity, and this is saying it's dead, let it go. But then with the camellia aligned with the moon, this is peace energy. And there is a specific peace that comes with allowing something to be done. At some point, you might feel like, well, or like there's a hole or something missing or empty, but really, it's like a cycle where there's room now for something else to grow. So, like I said, I want to bounce around again. So I'm just weaving and bobbing here, looking again at the sun's Kingfisher card. And I think this is in alphabetical order here. So the anatomy book is not in alphabetical order. It's in some certain order that I could have looked at the front to find. Outer organs, reproductive organs, bones and muscles, circulatory system. Not the way I would have organized it, but I respect the creator. This is alphabetical, so I'm just mentioning that. And then the other deck is like tarot and oracle infused and whatever. The flower cards are just flower cards, no numbers or sections involved. So we've got a wide array of a spectrum of different sorts of frameworks. And that's how it all sort of comes together. And we can choose, this doesn't have to be about this specific full moon. It could be about whatever you want it to be. Excuse me. Like I said, I just got this deck, so I'm gonna read part of it. Kingfisher Messenger dives into your awareness with the promise of abundance and prosperity, urging you to have faith and take the plunge. This divine messenger is a reminder that prosperity comes in many forms. New love, warmth, and opportunities are among the favored gifts. This feather messenger also indicates that luck is with you. Stop trying so hard to create. Just allow the natural flow of abundance to come to you. Prepare by being open to receive. The gifts of prosperity are now assured. Um, and interestingly, I got a new laptop and my sister helped me to get it. And I feel like I felt so sick the night before because I was like, who, me? I don't deserve that. I'm just a pathetic piece of shit or whatever, you know? Maybe you don't know, but if you don't know, we could be like a yin and yang energy. Because it just, it's a very, feelings are very fe felt. Feelings are felt. Feelings are very physical for me in a certain way. Maybe for everybody, but I don't want to speak for everybody. So the idea of like actually being open to getting what you want. And I'm saying getting what you want again because sometimes we can be really concerned or consumed or influenced by a story or a picture of somebody else's, and we think we want something we actually don't. And it will take sometimes getting the thing you think you want and then going, oh. So again, this card says abundance comes in many forms, okay? Prosperity, luck, new warmth. The season is summer. Element, air, and water. The affirmation says, "My world is loving and abundant, and I open to receive these gifts." Let's not get too new agey with it, but I dig it. Um, I don't really remember. Do I have like a timer on here? Show me. 22 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this up soonish, but I did want to read the genitals. I want to read the genitals for you and this other feather deck. Sorry, I cut my hair recently. I keep being like I almost said sorry and then I stopped myself because why? But maybe someone is offended and I don't know if I'm sorry. I'm sorry. In my head just now I said, "Oh no, I said sorry." As if it's like a secret. Like, "Oh no, they know I'm Canadian, but I am Canadian, but I'm a living and born in America." So when I say sorry around some people, they'll be like, you're one of them." So hello, them, me, them, Canadians, maybe other Canadians, but that were born in America and your mom or dad is Canadian. Okay. Genitals. This card is for everyone. It wants to remind us of our inner power and the joy we carry within. The genitals, like the penis. I don't know. I feel like I'm like it's gonna not like me. I clearly I could just look up on YouTube. I think it's okay if I say penis. Play a big role in human reproduction and symbolize fertility. Besides, they can signify masculinity, the creation of life, strength, protection, and the power to birth ideas. This can evoke feelings of responsibility, excitement, or anxiety about parenthood. Depending on one's journey and identity, shame, guilt, embarrassment, discomfort, or sadness may arise. Genitals are often connected with sensuality, love, affection, and emotional bonding. Sexual activity can deepen these connections as we explore intimacy. Additionally, our genitals are associated with the root chakra, which grounds us and provides stability. However, energy and traumas can become blocked, and feelings of insecurity, shyness, and fear of judgment may stagnate here. Trust and emotional safety are important in both intimate and non-intimate contexts. Overall, our genitals can be deeply tied to our gender identity and expression. And this is card 25, whereas the knees is 31. I'm just throwing these things out there, you know? What do they mean? I don't know. To connect, ask, do my genitals impact my feelings about my gender? And what role do they play in my self-esteem? Have I experienced any trauma or negativity in this area, and how do I feel about it today? Am I open to exploring new aspects of my sexuality and intimacy? Interesting, because something I was thinking about is how, as a kid, because I was so aware, and for people who might only be watching this video, I don't know, from YouTube, I don't know who watches these. You might not know me, and I mention stuff, and I haven't mentioned it here necessarily, but I had an experience when I was 1 year old, and I'm a freak. I say that often. I was very aware of a lot of things that, not just aware of it, but before I could speak, so I couldn't even talk about it. And then I felt like by the time I could talk about certain things, it didn't really make sense. And then when I could make more sense, people would act like little kids don't know nothing. So shut up, wait till you're older. But I always thought, wow, this world is so sexual, and sexual energy isn't bad or wrong, but the sexualization of things, it's like as a child I was like, wow, there's not a lot of places and spaces for children. And even in kids shows and movies, I was like, there's always like dirty jokes for adults. And it's like, am I supposed to act like I don't notice? And, maybe I was just a freak, or maybe we all were much more aware than whatever this current time, space, society, and reality is, has allowed for or wanted to recognize that we have a lot of autonomy from before birth. And so I feel like beyond just the sexual energy of trauma that might be from abuse, like sexually, I think we could also consider a soul path and a perceived disconnection to and from the self, if you want to call yourself a soul, maybe, and like you have this personality while you're here, a persona, and there's a forgetting or a lack of recollection of like let's say there's like a lack of recollection of certain things before you were this persona, but you can feel them and you know them and they're in your field. And so when you come into a plane where things are so sexual and there's a story about what is age appropriate or what you're here to do in certain ways, I feel like there is a lot of over sexualization of things, people, and energy that is felt by everyone. And it's almost as if the longer you're here in linear order and time space, you become more jaded, or something happens and you are traumatized or you care less or whatever it is. That's just what that card made me think about. So I'm gonna get back to now the moon. So that was the moon. Feel your fire energy, a Fukian energy. And again, we have the raven for the soaring high kind of energy. So, mystery, magical energy, a power bird, strong feminine energy, a messenger of prophecy. Raven calls us to tune in and take notice of what is happening around us. Encourages us, you could say, to similarly have a sharp mind and keen intelligence, to trust ourselves and our own supreme knowing. And something I've been emphasizing in my own life here is that the knowing is a feeling. You feel it when you know it. You know it. I don't know what I'm trying to say except for that. If you have any questions, you already know. Raven's message is one of empowerment. His distant call awakens you to notice your personal power and to accept this as your truth. Oftentimes, we ignore the signs of the path and deny our own importance. That time is officially over. You are being called to notice and follow the signs and synchronicities of the universe that will awaken your inner wisdom. You may feel called to a higher vision and reach for yourself. The blackness of the raven's feather represents untapped potential and the expansive universe. Follow the guidance of Raven and your own power now. Beautiful. So when the sun and the moon are in opposition for what is called a full moon phase in this in this moon cycle, in this holographic, this atmospheric plane we live in, I pulled this card as an overall, an ending message. Fire and rain. And I really like this card. I really like the colors and the imagery. And I think we're getting to a point where we don't need to fight so much about if the earth is flat or round, and we can see a plane and a holography that plays upon light in a certain way. And again, at a certain point, light is crystallized and becomes solid form, that which we are. Fire, feel your fire, fire and rain. A contradiction in its fullest, fire and rain speaks about the greatest truth that we are human and that we are divine, and that there will be times of great contradiction, and that in this contradiction is also perfect harmony. There are things that we will not be able to explain, things we cannot understand with our minds, but with our hearts and with our souls, we will know. And these things we must prove to no one. Within us is fire and within us is rain, and do not let anyone tell you that it cannot be so. You do not have to choose, as you are both. So that's most of what I want to say. And the last thing I will read is this color astrology card for the 11th. And it's backwards. I'm going to read it, but this is the color. Um, if you wanted to look up the color, it's Sunset Gold, Pantone color 13-0940. Intuitive, articulate, and funny. Mm. You were born, and so this book is more like a birthday thing, but I like to bring it in here and there for certain dates and just not make it about you being born on this day, but let's play with the energy here. You were born with a nice combination of strength. Grab that lion face, tickle him. You were born with a nice combination of strength and sensitivity. You function best when you have a partner or a good friend to share your adventures with. Your depth of understanding makes you easy to talk to. The challenges that occur in your life serve to uncover your innate strengths, which may lie dormant if not for those experiences. Wearing, meditating on, or surrounding yourself with sunset gold helps increase your discipline and transform hurts and setbacks into knowledge and opportunities. And so something I would like to say as I end this here is that I think now is a great time to not be an ageist, but consider that the longer someone has been alive here, yeah, they may have become jaded in some way or given up on themselves in some way. Or you may find that, especially not always, but especially people of certain ages or backgrounds have like emotional reactivity to certain things. And so it's not a place of judgment that I'm saying this from, but an invitation that you know what you came here to do. And you might be looking at some people who may be older than you, like, what has been going on here? Oh my God. And I'm just saying, you already know what you came to do. It's time to allow certain energies to be. One of them being that we can't really exist in a full spectrum reality if we bypass what is negative. And it's not that we need to fully feel and experience all that is negative, but we must acknowledge it. And we must, the word I like to use is play with it. And so, sorry, Bob. Like I'm talking to my cat, if you don't know, Bob. Um, so I feel like for me, something I think is something that's like playing with the energy is not all of us grew up in ways, and this isn't about talking about trauma necessarily, or healing our nervous systems, or hating on our families, or our parents, or anything, or blaming people. It's more like we've all played certain roles, and you could look at our lives as training for what was to come and what is. And we're experiencing the unfoldment of some shifts that took place decades ago and have been sort of flowering forth. And so I feel storytelling is something I'd be interested in playing around with, and I will be doing here on this channel. when it comes to being able to speak about bad or negative things that have happened, but also share parts of what I just call my story, not in some layer of attachment or like I'm just looping and living it. But no, I don't know how old you all are, but I know for me, I'm 37 and I feel like so much of my life has been go, 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 rush, rush, rush. And then sometimes, yeah, when I have some not so fun shit to deal with or talk about. It's like constantly like hushed or shushed or someone wants to fix it or just whatever. Maybe you want to go talk to someone and behind closed doors and pay them for therapy, and that's the only place we talk about these things. So, I'm inviting you not to necessarily just come back and watch me tell stories, but to live in this fuller spectrum way and know that we are all these ages right now for certain reasons. And maybe you don't believe that, but I do. And I'll share more of my story when it comes to why I believe certain things and how I see them. And even if people think I'm crazy or whatever, I really just feel like it's a good time for me to put myself out there. So thanks for being here. I'll leave you with another view of my crystal friends. And I will talk to you soon.